In today's session, we will be learning what are the steps involved in database design. Normally, what happens during the software development, we are going to follow different phases. The first phase will be regarding the system study, feasibility study, later on system analysis, later on system design, after this coding, testing, implementation and maintenance. Likewise, we are going to follow step-by-step procedures or phases in the development of a software or a system. When I say the design phase, in a design phase, we are going to design various aspects. Like sometimes we are going to design the database, sometimes we are going to design the user interface. All these designing activities are happening in design phase. ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ನ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಕೋಡ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಫೇಸ್. ವಿ ಆರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೆವರಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್. After that, we are going to test whether our coding is working properly or what. Our program execution is working properly or what. So that is what a testing phase. Adanna ನಾವು software testing ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. And after testing phase, we are going to implement. Suppose if our software passes testing phase, then we are going to validate it, and later on we are going to implement our software in a client's environment. So after implementation, again we are going to maintain our software. So that is what how we are going to carry out different phases during the software development. So in a design phase, again as I said, we are going to design the database, we are going to design the user interface, etc. Now in this particular session, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss the various steps involved in database design. How database design happens. So let us see. Normally what happens? We are going to collect requirements. We are going to ask the clients, what is your requirements? So that after collecting requirements, it becomes very easy for us to make analysis process. We are going to think over the requirements which we have collected from the client. ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Is it possible for us to develop such kind of a requirements? Are we able to fulfill those requirements which are mentioned by the client? That we have to make analysis. So ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. After making analysis, what we need to do? We need to come up with a conceptual design. Already we have discussed ER diagram, ER model, that is coming under conceptual design. With the help of conceptual design, we are able to understand what is the concept of the database, what are the entities involved in it, how these entities are related with each other, how they are going to participate in a relationship, what is the number of a participation. Likewise, we can understand the concept of the database. So that is with the help of a conceptual design. Once we frame a conceptual design, as you can see here, we can understand the concept here. So as you can see, there is employee, department and project entities are available, and the employee department are connected with each other, employee projects are connected with each other. Once we get the conceptual design, later on we have to go for the logical design. we have to come up with a relational model. Whatever ER model we have drawn, we have to map those ER model into the relational model. In ER model, we are unable to see the tabular form, but we have to frame our database in such a manner that so that we can store our record in the form of a tabular structure. But in ER model, what happens? We are unable to get what? The tabular form. So for that, what we need to do as a DBA, he has to convert the conceptual design into the logical design. So he has to convert the conceptual design, that is ER model, into relational model. So for this, he will go with a mapping algorithm. He is going to follow certain steps so that by using those steps, he is able to convert the ER model into the relational model. So once he gets the relational model, that is nothing but we are simply saying it as a logical design. We are able to see the schema. We are able to see the table structure for each and every entity. And we can provide a logical connectivity between multiple tables. So this is how we can frame the logical design by using a relational model. Once we get the relational model directly, we are not implementing what? The physical design. So before implementing physical design, we have to go for refinement process. We are still checking that is there any still duplications available. We will try to reduce the duplication entries. We are going to remove unwanted columns. So this refinement process is known as normalization. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಆ ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮ್ಯಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಗೋರಿಥಮ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ER ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ರಿಲೇಷನಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Once we get the relational model, directly we cannot go for physical design. Relational model ಸಿಕ್ತಲ್ರಿ, ನಮ್ಮ tabular form ಸಿಕ್ತಲ್ರಿ, ಹಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? No. Before creating a physical design, once again we have to check, is there any duplications? ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸರಿ duplications ಆಗುವಂತ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವು. We may include the same columns in multiple relations. So hangidaga we have to apply normalization process. Again in normalization process, again we are having 5 different forms. 1NF, 2NF anta bartavu. First normal form, second normal form, third BCNF and fifth normal form. Ee riti bartavu. Ee normal form na apply madkondo again we are going to purify the schema. Nodri, ನಮಗೇನ್ ರಿಲೇಷನಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರಿಲೇಷನಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ರಿಫೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾರ್ಮಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ದ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಇನ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್. To create a physical database design, we are using some language called as SQL. By using a structured query language, we are going to write several commands. By using those commands, we are able to create the physical tables in hard disk. And also we can manipulate or we can maintain our database in a systematic manner by using what? The physical database design. So after this, when we are going to create a table and when we are going to insert records within a table, is it sufficient? No, because whatever the data we are going to store in the physical database, we have to provide a proper security for that. We need to develop applications so that with the help of applications we are able to authorize, we are able to identify the right person to access our data. And we are going to implement several security measurements, like to access our data, it should ask a username and password. Sometimes we may implement a biometrics technology. Sometimes we may implement encryption, cryptography technologies. So with the help of this, we are going to provide proper security for our database. So this is how, once we implement the security for our database, then we can say our database design is complete now. So these are what the step-by-step procedures to implement the database design. Hope you have understood what are the steps involved in database design. I repeat once again. First, we are going to collect requirements from the client. After collecting requirements, we are going to make analysis of those requirements. We are just cross-verifying whether these requirements can be fulfilled by us or what. And after that, we are going to form a conceptual design. The best example for conceptual design is ER model. But in ER model, we cannot find a tabular structure for our database. For that, we need to apply mapping algorithms so that we can convert conceptual design into logical design. In a logical design, we are going to come up with a relational model. Relational model will be in the form of a tabular form so that we can store our data successfully. Once we get the logical design, directly we are not implementing this design physically. Before implementing physical design, we have to apply the normalization process. This is very important. We have to apply the refinement process, normalization process. In a normalization process, we can avoid maximum duplications here. And after refinement process, we are able to physically create our database in hard disk by using a certain commands, by using a certain language called as SQL. Once we implement our database physically, later on providing a proper security for our database is very important. For that purpose, we are going to develop certain applications and we are going to consider security measurements for our data. So if we implement applications and security measurements for our database, then I can say our database design is complete. So these are what several steps we need to carry out while designing the database. Now let us see what are the security techniques we need to implement or we can implement for our database. The first one is privacy. We have to maintain confidentiality for our personal information. Assume that I'm having a username and password to access my database, but I should maintain privacy, or I should never share the username and password which is allocated for me with someone else. Or we should be very careful while entering username and password. There should not be some other person who are watching my username and password. That means what? We have to maintain privacy while entering our personal information like username and password, PIN number, etc. So this is what one security technique we should maintain. Suppose what happens if you share your personal information, some other person may access your data by entering your personal information like username, password, PIN number, OTP, etc. So this should not happen. Even though some other person might be your close friend, but he may misutilize someday. For that purpose, we should maintain our personal information privately. So that is very important. The next one is we have to ensure the durability for our database, and we should ensure the security for our data so that no unauthorized person can access our data. We have already discussed the properties of a transaction, wherein which we have included atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. What do you mean by durability? Whatever the record or data has been stored in database, it must be available until you delete those records. Suppose what happens if you are storing a record, then after your next login, suppose you are unable to see that particular record, then it is of no use, isn't it? So whatever the record you are going to store, it must ensure the existence of a data until and unless you delete that particular record. ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ನ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಆ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎನ್ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಎನ್ಶ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ DBMS. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವಾಗ್ಲೇ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್, ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಡಿಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್. ಅವಾಗ ನಾನು ಡ್ಯೂರಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ಎನ್ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲಲ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಅನ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ನೀವಾಗ್ಲೇ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓಕೆ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ನೀವು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಾರ್ದ ಆ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಡ್ಯೂರಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ unauthorized access for unauthorized person. Suppose to access my database, I am the authorized person. Apart from me, no one has a right to access that particular data. If he tries to access that particular data, then I can call him as a unauthorized person to access my data. So hagadre authentication process na navu implement ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. Okay, so this is what durability. User saves the data. After so many years, the data should exist so that user can access the saved data even after so many years. So this is how we can ensure the data durability. And also unauthorized access we should avoid by implementing authentication process. Okay, so the next security technique is database integrity. It has to ensure data consistency here. What do you mean by data consistency? Assume that I'm going to store a mobile number here. Normally mobile number contains a 10-digit number. Suppose if I try to store less than 10 digits or greater than 10 digits, isn't it? And suppose if I try to store mobile number in terms of a textual value, it should not accept. As you can see here, the first mobile number is exactly of 10 digits. So that's why it is in a consistent state, I can say. But the rest of the data, these are in inconsistent state, I can say. So this is how we can ensure the data consistency by implementing certain rules or constraints or triggers. When I include rules, yes, obviously mobile number should be of 10 digits and it should be in the form of a numeric itself. Then only it will accept a mobile number in the right format, so that I can say that every mobile number is in a consistent state, I can say. So this is how we can achieve database integrity. And the last one is authorization. What do you mean by authorization? Authorization is the process of determining a legal user. Who is the authorized user? The user who is having a right to access his database. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? authorized user ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Suppose you are the authorized user to access your bank account details through your ATM card. You are the authorized user. How it will identify? How the system will identify, yes, you are the authorized user? Suppose even I may carry your ATM card to ATM machine but ATM machine has to identify, isn't it, whether you are the authorized user or what. So for that purpose, it will implement certain techniques like it will ask username and password. Sometimes it may ask a PIN number. Sometimes the system may accept our biometric information like iris recognition, thumb recognition, face recognition, etc. With the help of these authorization process, the system will identify or system will determine the legal user of the database. ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, we can implement several database security techniques to secure our database. Now let us see the last concept of our second chapter, that is regarding database languages. Regarding database security, you may get short notes. ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಒಳಗೆ ರೈಟ್ ಅ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆನ್ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. At that time you have to explain the various techniques used in database security. And suppose if you get the short notes on database languages, then you have to explain the various database languages used. So there are 3 different database languages available. Those are nothing but DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, DCL, that is data control language. Regarding these database languages, we are going to learn in detail in SQL chapter. In a structured query language chapter, that is third chapter, we are going to learn about these database languages in detail. So let me just brief out what DDL language, DML and DCL language does. Okay. So DDL languages are used in creating a schema, or we can say the skeleton structure of a relation, and it is used to provide integrity constraints on the records, and also it is used to physically create the structure on hard disk. Some of the examples of DDL languages are create, alter table, drop table, rename, truncate, etc. By using these commands, we are able to create a skeleton structure. We are able to define the schema. We are able to apply the integrity constraints. We can apply conditions on the data. And also we are able to physically store our table structure on a hard disk. With the help of a DML language, see, the name itself indicates data manipulation language. We can perform manipulation operations such as retrieval of a record, inserting a new record, deleting and updating the existing record which has been stored in database. So these are what manipulation operations we can perform on the database. Some of the examples of DML statements are select, insert, delete, update. And DCL statements. DCL stands for data control language. With the help of these statements, we are able to grant and revoke the privileges or permissions to the user. Assume that I have created one table. To insert a record, to whom I need to grant the privileges. Nodri. Record insert ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ privileges na assign ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಆ privileges na ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು revoke nu ಮಾಡಬಹುದು by using a revoke command. So some of the statements we are using here is grant and revoke. So these are the most commonly used DCL statements. With the help of these statements, we can grant and revoke the permissions or privileges for the user to access or to modify the data. So these are what just a brief introduction about database languages. So in the next chapter, we will be discussing all these languages in detail. We are able to create, we are able to manipulate, and we are able to grant and revoke the privileges to the database in detail in SQL chapter. So this ends the second chapter. Just to have a recap regarding whatever the concepts discussed in this chapter. So we started this chapter by introducing what do you mean by data, information, database, DBMS, and what do you mean by RDBMS. Later on, we discussed objectives, characteristics, components, different users of a DBMS, along with its advantages and disadvantages. Later on, we discussed the roles and responsibilities of database administrator. Later on, we discussed different layer architecture of the DBMS. Later on, we discussed differences between DBMS and RDBMS. Later on, we discussed different database models, different types of database models. And at last, we discussed about database security, techniques, and whatever the database languages available. With this, we are going to terminate the second chapter. I hope you have understood.